Hey guys, so we have some big time astrology to talk about going on today, going on right now. We are in day 3 of what I have been referring to as the 6-day energetic window that has opened in the month of September that is really trying to carry us through a process of some really internalized self-discovery, culminating in some pretty profound transformations, especially in regards to us realizing what it is that we truly want and sort of recognizing where our own ego has perhaps been holding us back from getting what we want as a result of any attachments that we may have had going on. This is what is being brought to our attention over this period of time, and it is likely in the context of conflicts surfacing in relationships. We've got lots of astrology to talk about, you guys. Let's get into the chart. Let's talk about how this day 3 of this energetic window might be activating, what it might be doing for us, and what we might be able to expect, perhaps, in our experience on the ground in this energy. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today is Friday, September 16th, 2022. My name is Aubrey, and this is your astrological outlook of the day. If you guys stick with me till the end of the report, we're also going to be talking about some tarot cards that came out in correspondence with our astrology message today so that we can tap the field from more than one modality and just try to get a better, more holistic overview of what is playing out on an energetic level today. And you guys, I am giving you an extra video this week. Again, I usually do a weekend video on Friday for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but because we have so much playing out this weekend, I just didn't feel that I was doing the vibrations justice by grouping them all together. So we're going to do a separate Friday video for today. There will be a Saturday and Sunday video for tomorrow. I am going to combine those 2 days, even though, big stuff going on both of those days, and then we'll do the video for Monday too. But then I'm going to be taking a couple days off after that. So that is my personal plan and trajectory at this point in time. But anyways, that being said, let's get into the astrology that we have playing out going on today. Like I said, day 3. If you guys have been following along with me over the past couple days, you know that I've been talking about how I felt like there is this window opening in the month of September between the 14th and the 19th that is really activating the energy that has been indicated throughout the month of September based on the energy present when we started the month, and also our new moon and Virgo cycle. The entire purpose of what this energy, the month of September, the new moon and Virgo cycle, I feel has been leading towards is really sort of this is the epicenter of that, this 14th to the 19th 6-day period that we have playing out. And I know technically the 14th to the 19th, you might be oh, that's 5 days, but I'm talking about the whole day, the 14th, the 15th, the 16th, the 17th, the 18th, and the 19th. So the entirety of those days. And then by the time we get to the 20th, this breaks a little bit. We are out of the bang, 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 bang exact aspects, but we are really in it today. This is today, tomorrow, the 17th, I feel is sort of probably the most overwhelming day of this energy altogether. And on the 17th, we are likely to I even wrote in my notes, nobody knows what's happening. Good Lord, no one knows what is going on. That is sort of the vibe that we might be kind of feeling a little bit today and heading into Saturday. That is what we're dealing with, because on one hand, we're in all this retrograde energy right now. Are you guys feeling this retrograde? We have 6 planets retrograde. I'll tell you, for me personally, I've been running late since last Tuesday. I cannot stay on schedule. No matter how early I get up, no matter how organized and prepared I try to be, I just can't get it done. Anything in any type of timely manner. I don't know if you guys have been experiencing the same thing, but I just I find myself getting sidetracked and just sitting there tapping into something, staring off into space when I'm supposed to be over here focusing, getting this done, and before I know it, it's just time has evaporated and I am yet again an hour and a half behind on something. I don't know. This retrograde energy has definitely I've been definitely feeling it. But we have that going on, and then we also on top of that have in Mercury. Obviously, whenever Mercury is retrograde, this can be a harder time to keep our linear streamlined thoughts going on. But then we take into consideration as well that we have all of these other retrograde planets, and we are in a Virgo cycle that is ruled by Mercury, so the ruler of this cycle being retrograde, with all the rest of the retrograde planets. And then we also have the sun in an opposition to Neptune. Neptune is the clouds, you guys. Neptune is where we sort of it's an intense spiritual connection, but it's also the fog and the haze and I always think about it, like, you know, when you wake up in the morning and like there's the beautiful fog and it's like the misty morning and it feels so like magical and spiritual and it's just like this magic fairyland, but simultaneously, like, if you go out there, like, you can't see your hand in front of your face. Like, it's that type of vibe. Like, it's so magical and spiritual and like all of this, but simultaneously, like, you really can't see what's going on either. And with all this retrograde energy and the ruler of this cycle retrograde and now the sun in the opposition to Neptune, like, we may just be having a really hard time of knowing what is going on around us over the course of this today and moving into tomorrow as well. But there's a lot of other stuff that is going on besides the general disorientation that we may be dealing with. Like, for example, number one most important thing today, Venus and Mars coming to their exact to the minute square. Yesterday, the square began. It began at 14 degrees of Gemini and Virgo. Today, it is moving to 15 degrees of Gemini and Virgo, telling us a bit of a different story, and it is being very emphasized by the position of the moon. The moon acts like a trigger planet for transits, you guys, because it rules our emotions and our internal environment, our feelings, and what's going on inside of us. And when our feelings are wrapped up in things, a lot of times, you know, it causes a ripple effect and causes other things to happen. Our feelings have a tendency to be triggering what we're talking about, what we're thinking about, how we're behaving, the actions that we're taking. And so when the moon is coming through and it is hitting a planet, we're hitting an activation as is happening today, and especially like hitting Mars, particularly in the square to Venus. This is really activating and setting off this Venus-Mars square energy. And I talked a lot about this in my video from yesterday. If you watched this video, or if you watched my video from yesterday, I was talking about the dynamic of Venus and Mars in square in these mutable signs. This is very much actually about like dissolving and breaking down issues in relationships as a result of any type of ego attachments that are, you know, or like things being built on like ego needs or gratification or wounds or attachments, anything to do with our ego that is sort of like plays a prominent role in the existence, like in the existence of our current relationships. These are where we are likely to be experiencing some type of conflict, some type of issue that is bringing this to the surface, because in this energy is really trying to show us where like our need to be perceived a certain way, or, you know, just these ego attachments, or our need to receive gratification or validation or uphold an image, or just be generally like perceived a certain way in alignment with an ego-based identity that we may have created for ourselves. Like, this energy is showing us where that action, Mars, is actually preventing us, disrupting like our ability to, or keeping us out of being able to actually receive what it is that we truly want. Okay, Venus, this is like universe showing us in various ways where our own needs to like be a certain way or be perceived a certain way or act a certain way in order to receive something that we think that we want on this more superficial level is actually interfering with our ability to really get what our soul really wants, like what we really want on that heart and soul based level. That is what this Venus Mars in these mutable signs is trying to like show us through like breaking down and dissolving this energy within us, bringing it to our attention through these conflicts that may be surfacing in our lives and in our relationships, so that we can actually release ourselves through this transformative process that is coming, right? I've been talking about this 6-day period that represents this ultimate transformation, but it's because of this process of self-discovery, this massive self-awareness that we are gaining over this period of time, likely as a result of things that we are finding out both about ourselves and others, and B, how this is helping us to understand our own like interplay going on between our ego and our higher self. What our higher self, our heart, our soul truly aligns with and like authentically feels fulfilled by and wants, versus what our ego is attached to in terms of, again, the identity that we've created for ourselves, or what we feel we need to like present, and or what we need to prove, or who we need to be in order to receive a certain type of result from like others or our surrounding or something, even though it may not actually be in alignment with that which
that which is what we truly, truly want. This is what this energy is showing us. And then when we have the moon coming in today, you guys, this is the moon. And the moon is not only going to be forming the conjunction to Mars. Because of the placement of the planets right now, the moon will first actually form a trine to Mercury retrograde, ruling the position, remember, of Venus and Mars, Virgo and Gemini, both ruled by Mercury. Mercury right now is in the sign of Libra, which is ruled by Venus. Mercury and Venus are in mutual reception and moving backwards. So this is Mercury retrograde in Libra. This is reconsidering what we really want, what we really desire, what we love, what makes us feel comfortable, what we want to spend our money on, like what is worth spending our time and energy on. This is what we're reconsidering when we have Mercury in the sign of Libra, and also how we want to relate with others, the type of social situations that we want to involve ourselves with. This is what we are reconsidering. Mercury is also in an opposition to Jupiter retrograde right now as well in the sign of Aries. Jupiter and Aries, you guys, this is about our personal truth, okay? When we put this opposition into, when we put it together, this is our personal, a massive reflection on our like genuine personal truth. And how is this changing? What are we rediscovering about ourselves in terms of what we value, how we want to relate to others, the types of social interactions that we want to have, the way that we want to spend our money, what we want to spend our time and energy on, like all of that type of stuff. Mercury in opposition to Jupiter, Libra and Aries, personal truth and relating to others. We are and this is this retrograde energy, rediscovering, re-identifying with our own self on this very massive and like cognitive level as well. This is a mind shift, a mind expansion, a mental expansion in alignment with the discovery or the rediscovery, or the reevaluation in this retrograde energy of our own personal truth and what we need to do to restore the balance within us and externally in our relationships so that we can align with that personal truth, but also receive that which fills us up inside, that which we want, that which we desire. We are releasing ourselves from the relationships, the circumstances, the situations that we have built on top of a facade of ego, essentially, and therefore are no longer leading to our sense of happiness and fulfillment. Like, we wonder why there's so many drugs for like anxiety and depression and all of these like issues, I feel like it really has a lot to do with the fact that for a very long period of time, throughout the course of this Pisces paradigm from which we are exiting right now, like, this is where we all schooled together. This is where our individual identity was not so relevant. Like, this is where, we sort of like had an expectation on us to fit into a certain mold and to not like rock the boat and to not like ruffle feathers and stuff like that. But as we're moving into the age of Aquarius, where it's very, very important that we are lighting our own spark and coming into the truth of our own potential, because we are trying to bring this whole picture together. We are trying to like illuminate this entire collective. It's this great awakening. It's this conscious awareness. And if we are unaware of our own selves, like, we can't participate in that process, and universe wants to expand and go through this process. So we are all being like dragged towards these truths, these authentic truths. But in order to do that, it's like we have to wake up to the reality that we've created for ourselves and, begin to like really look for the root cause for why it's not fulfilling us. This is no longer about, the symptoms and alleviating the symptoms and taking a pill so that you don't feel depressed by the state of your life. It's like, well, why do I feel depressed by the state of my life? I feel depressed by the state of my life because it's not fulfilling me. I don't feel purpose. It's not resonating with what my soul truly needs to be happy. And it's probably because we've been wearing this mask, or we've been, enmeshed with this facade as a result of like social conditioning or familial conditioning or cultural conditioning that has detached us from the truth of our authenticity and what we really need to fill our vessel in that authentic way that really does make us feel alive and that really does give us purpose and that really does help us thrive in this life and like be excited every day when our feet hit the ground and our eyes open and we see the light coming through. Like, of course we're going to be depressed if we're living a life that is out of alignment with the divine image of us and what we were meant to do. And this is the period of time where we are really being asked to shake ourselves out of that, to stop putting band-aids over like major, like broken bones, you know what I mean? And we really need to figure out the root of the problem so that we can solve it and realign our lives in a way that helps us to save ourselves and does not cause us to seek external saviors anymore. That's another thing that we are moving away from in the age of Pisces. That was the age of the external everything, the external, the hierarchy and the external power source. And as we move into the age of Aquarius, again, this is where we are learning to light our own fire so that we can illuminate the collective together in this age of conscious awareness and conscious enlightenment that is transitioning us into our own personal experience of, you know, what we would consider to be a golden age. And it's indicated as well through this 222 year that we are maneuvering and navigating in the process, which numerologically breaks down into the same thing. And then we're talking about 222. This also comes to a 6, which is associated and is a number of love and balance and harmony, and also associated with the Virgo cycle and what we're dealing with right now. So everything really is coming full circle in terms of the messaging that is coming through. But really just today and over this next couple days, like that is what is showing through to us, the root issues, like why we are not happy with the current state of things, how it got that way, what we need to change within ourselves and externally as well in order to free ourselves from this cycle and transform in a way where we can begin to like magnetize and receive that which really does make us happy. And we are moving in this direction, you guys. Next month when we start this Libra cycle, I feel like this is going to begin our process of actually making some changes and taking some action to move towards the embodiment of what we are discovering in this energy as it is playing out right now. Anyways, the moon coming through, triggering and activating that today, while we do also have the sun within that 1 degree orb opposition to Neptune. We are learning something today, this weekend, and it is shifting our desires, our behaviors, and our priorities. We may be changing our values, our ideals, and as a result, this may bring up some conflict, some tension, some breakdowns, specifically with Venus and Mars, you guys, masculine and feminine in this 90-degree angle and this conflicting angle, specifically in terms of relationships, partnerships. Also with the Gemini energy could be like social situations, social groups, friend groups within families and stuff as well. But tension, breakdowns in relationships, in partnerships, in these areas of life generally, and within the inner dimensions of our own mind as well. Remember, this aspect is happening in Mercury's sign. Mercury rules the mind, the various aspects of the mind, Virgo and Gemini. Like this is a very mental recalibration, like process, like we're figuring it out on a mental level. And then we also have the moon there today, you guys, with Mars. This is our feelings as well. This is our feelings and our ego that potentially are coming together today to really show us where an imbalance may be going on within us, again, between what our ego wants for us and what our higher self and our soul and our heart truly desires. Venus and Mars in the square, ruled by Mercury in Libra. How the identity we've created for ourselves is separating us from being who we truly are and who we were meant to be. That is what I really feel like at the end of the day, this energy is trying to bring to our attention. What relationships and attachments are keeping us out of balance internally and are unfair in any type of way. This is also bringing up lack of justice, lack of reciprocity, things that are unfair, just things that are unbalanced, unharmonized, unpeaceful, or leading to a lack of that within us generally. Like this is what is being triggered by the placement of these planets and their activation in this energy. And with Mercury in the opposition to Jupiter, with the moon there as well, finding out, again, based on these personal truths to bring harmony and balance into relations with others. It's like we are discovering this massive truth about ourselves. And like, it's like, oh, well, that's why my relationships aren't working. Oh, well, that's why I'm not happy. Like, you know, like, oh, well, that's why that didn't work out. And like, now what am I going to do about it to get myself out of this loop, to make sure that I'm like ending this now and it doesn't happen again. I'm changing my circumstances for myself. Huge insight into our own issues and our personal truth coming through with this, and learning and finding out revelations as well. Mercury in the opposition to Jupiter. This is also massive revelations about things retrograde from the past as well. People, places, situations, information, things from the past coming back in a different way, seeing things from the past in a way that we hadn't seen them before, perhaps. Like, this is all indicated through this situation. And then with the moon there, you guys, though, this is a red flag sort of for the day. Today really is kind of like more of a red flag day, just like on the energetic level. We really, really want to be careful with having a hot head and like our anger and our temper today, especially in regards to these egos. Like, there are probably likely to be some egos just like running wild, because we're talking about this energy that is working to show us, right, where we're out of balance internally. And, you know, a lot of times in order for us to see, we have to experience some type of difficult situation to gain a recognition of the problem. And so in order for this to happen, a lot of ego issues are going to be activated in this energy, I feel like, in order to draw attention to the problem, to create these conflicts so that we can draw attention to the problem. And with the emotions, the moon coming through, this being the sign of Gemini as well, this could be major fights going on within like siblings, within friend groups, within like families, and just like communities, close relations and stuff like that. This could be major like war of words going on. Like, people may be really like just throwing the verbal like artillery, verbal grenades and bombs and eruptions and explosions going off. This could, and it's likely to be over any type of ego wounding that has gone on. Anywhere we feel our ego is being wounded, or where we are being defensive, or where we are feeling threatened specifically in terms of something in one way or another, or not getting what we want. Temper tantrums could also really be like popping off all over the place today. And this Mars moon energy, emotions and ego in alignment and at odds with our heart, at odds with what we want. That's what's going on. Like, at odds with our ability to sort of, you know, be in the Venusian energy, like smooth things over and employ like social graces and like stuff like that. Like, be more compassionate, be more open-hearted. Like, that is kind of off the table today. What is on the table is just this mentalized emotional energy with the ego attached to our ideas. That's another thing. You're going to want to probably be very, very, very careful with criticizing people's ideas or opinions or feelings about things today, because with the moon here, with Mars here, and the sign of Gemini, this is people very, very attached on an ego-based level to their ideas, to their feelings. So it's like, if you're criticizing my thoughts, if you're criticizing my feelings, then you're the enemy and you need to be attacked. Like, that really may be something that is coming up in this energy, and it's the moon. This is all happening very unconsciously for most people who are not following along with this energy and, you know, consciously talking about this process that is playing out right now. And also, you guys, on top of that, with the sun in the opposition to Neptune, we're not seeing things clearly. Like, yes, there may be this like mystical, spiritual vibe that is just sort of like palpable in the air, but we also can't see our hand in front of our face. You know what I mean? Like, we can't see what's 10 feet in front of us. Like, we are operating without an ability to like see what is coming. We're just sort of perhaps like in this haze or in this disorientation, and with this unconscious energy that's playing out and all that's wrapped up in this like exacerbated ego energy today, like, people honestly may be acting very delusional. There could be a lot of tons and tons and tons of projection of ego wounds going on, or like, this is the energy, you guys. People are going to be telling on themselves. Here's a little secret, or a little like tip or whatever. I don't even know what you'd call it about this energy. A little people hack going on in this energy. People are going to be telling on themselves through what they're accusing you of doing, okay? If you want to know what's really been going on with somebody in this energy who's got issues with their ego, pay attention to what they're accusing you of doing, because that, I'm telling you, that is what they have been doing. This is energy, the ego, our action, what we are on, the cognitive dissonance, the projection, like what we are unable. Okay, if we are operating from an unconscious place and very in alignment, controlled, dominated by our ego within us, this is energy where we are very likely to not be able to accept the truth about our own actions, okay? Because we're talking about Mars, our own actions, and therefore projecting them out onto people in our lives in order to like express express the anger that maybe, or the feelings that may be associated with them, but not have it directed or internalized at ourselves. Okay. So that's like sort of how this works. So if people are, you know, accusing you, like I said, if people are accusing you of, you know, things that you just absolutely hadn't done, and you feel that they're operating from a more ego attached emotional state, pay attention, because people are telling on themselves in this energy. That's the thing with this Neptune Sun energy. Because again, yes, like, it's confusing. We can't see what's going on. It's the mist, it's the shroud, it's the fog, it's the haze. But simultaneously, what does the sun do to the fog? It burns it up. It brings the clarity. Like the sun, through shining the light, dissolves the fog, dissolves the mist. And I really feel like in this energy, you guys, it's the type of thing, it's like, we're seeing the truths that we're not looking for. And it's because of people, like I said, like telling on themselves. It's because of the like overdone nature of the energy that is just like making the patterns that we may have missed along the way because of all this retrograde as well stand out and very apparent to us. So, you know, it's like things that we may have normally, red flags, back to this red flag thing, right? Like red flags that we may have normally overlooked for one reason or another are like standing out to us, like those magic eye pictures from the 90s. Do you guys remember? Well, I don't know, you know, if you guys remember those or not, but I certainly remember them. Those pictures that we had posters, there was posters all over like the movie theaters and stuff, and they would be, you know, they were like a popular thing where it would be like just this random abstract like geometric image, and it would be like framed in a poster, and you'd be like, oh wow, like that's a nice like trippy looking picture. But if you look at it a certain way and like you relax your eyes properly, there's actually like this very like specific 3D image that is crystal clear that comes right on popping out, and you can see it clear as day. And it's like, unless you know how to adjust your eyes to the image, it just looks like this confusing, disoriented, like, you know, like picture or print picture or whatever. But once you know how to, when you're looking at it properly, you can see that it's so much more than that. It's actually this like 3D visual panorama of whatever like complex design is interwoven into that the design of that picture. And I feel like that's really what this energy is like. It's like on the surface of it, could seem very confusing and very disorienting. But if we sort of stand back and like adjust our eyes a little bit, like look from a different perspective, all of a sudden, like the reality of what is ingrained or embedded in that image, like pops out in like 3D color and detail. And we're like, oh my God, look, there's a motorcycle there, and there's a bird flying over there, and there's a dog on a leash, and a garbage can, and an apple tree. And we can see like all the very specific details that were embedded in this image that just a minute ago, looking at it from our plain eyes, just glancing up at it, was just this random like print on the wall that just seemed like it was nothing, but it was really holding all of these secrets and all of this imagery and all of this like understanding that we gain. Like I feel like that is what also, you know, kind of like this 6-day period is doing for us, but very much so in the energy that we have that is playing out right now. Like we're not seeing things clearly, but simultaneously, if we like adjust our perspective a little bit, you like sort of maybe look out of a different part of our eye or whatever, like yeah, no, we're actually seeing it more clear than ever. In fact, we're seeing everything that we missed along the line. In fact, actually, like it's got whole other dimensions to it that I never even perceived were there before. This you guys. But another thing we want to keep in mind, do not overreact before you know the details about something. That's another thing that I feel like is going to be setting people off on this energy. I feel like people are going to be hearing something and just like, wow, like exploding or erupting, and then like later come to find out like they had taken it totally out of context and they had missed like a very crucial piece of like a detail or information that sort of like changed what the whole context of the situation was. Because remember, like Mercury is ruling the position of Venus and Mars in Mercury's signs, and Mercury is information. It's what we're hearing. It's what we're understanding. It's what's coming to us. But Mercury is also retrograde right now. So miscommunications, misinterpretations, misunderstandings, and the opposition with Jupiter.
also retrograde right now. Jupiter expands things though. So this is us learning something. This is some big news or some big information or a big message coming to us or some type of insight that we're gaining, like some type of something, expanded viewpoint, expanded perspective, overall view, like something that is coming through and opening our eyes to something, gaining some insight, giving us some information. This is a really great aspect. But the problem with this aspect is that because of the expansive nature of the mental energy, we have a tendency to overlook the details, to overlook the fine print, to not see like what's happening on the ground. This is like this very expanded viewpoint, this very like overall view without an ability to really see like the fine print and the details that are interwoven within it. And also with Mercury retrograde again and ruling the position of Venus and Mars, this conflict energy that could be going on, there could be a lot of fights going on, you guys, over misunderstanding, misinterpretation, miscommunication, or like I said, this just like hairpin trigger reaction is, I can't remember the exact phrase of that. This just like spontaneous, just like impulsive reaction to things. We don't want to take rash, impulsive reactions to things based on things that we've heard without understanding the whole picture or without getting the details, getting the information. And also Virgo, the sun in Virgo opposing Neptune in Pisces, the facts, knowing all the facts, knowing the details, the facts, the information, and being able to see it from a more practical, logical way in the midst of all this energy. Like, we don't want to be exploding or erupting or overreacting to things before we know the details and the facts. Just another thing that you may witness, experience, see people sort of like all over the place in during this time. People in total fantasy land having massive meltdowns over not getting what they want as well. Like I was saying, like temper tantrums, grown adults having some massive temper tantrums over not getting what they want. And it's just this ego. Like, it's also on this more superficial level. Like, these temper tantrums are over not getting what the ego wants, or feeling frustrated because what we keep doing is not leading to what it is that we actually want. This is just like, or this projection energy, like people could be really taking their issues out on other people today. Like, instead of recognizing, you know, I'm the root of my own problem and that I am trying to adhere to this image or maintain this image that is actually out of alignment with who I am. And as a result of that, the relationships that I have are not satisfying me and they're not fulfilling me, because these are relationships meant for this facade, for this mask, for this alternate identity that I've created for myself that my ego thinks is cool and wants to like be associated with. But in reality, it's actually doing nothing to help me serve my purpose or step into my truth or activate my destiny or potential. And as a result, I'm just never happy. I'm feeling drained. I'm feeling unfulfilled, like I'm feeling depressed. That is what this energy is trying to shake us out of. And instead of being able to recognize that and look at that, we might be just very pissed that we feel this way, and you need to hear about it and you should suffer because of that. You know what I mean? Like projecting this energy, like I'm not happy within myself, and I'm not happy within myself because of my own ego attachments, right? Like that is what this energy is bringing up. But I'm not willing to look at that within myself, and the way I'm perceiving things right now, you are actually the one that is keeping me from getting what I want. So you are the one that is going to experience my wrath, and I have a whole verbal eruption that is just like ready to hit the play button and come after you. Like weapons, slicing, swords, we're doing this. That is a very likely tendency. So you guys, if you find yourself in a position where somebody is just like out to slay the day today with their verbal lashings and all of that, like don't take it personally. You know, just this is a good demonstration, or this is a good opportunity for us to really practice some like detached emotional. I cannot talk today, you guys. I cannot get these words out. Detached emotional observation. Okay, be like, wow, you know, that is a very good demonstration of the energy that we have playing out right now without allowing it to really impact us on this emotional level, because
this is happening, you know, if that is something that you're experiencing, that is also something that you're experiencing in order to help show, you know, you where for whatever reason, like how did like I attract or bring myself to a position where I am even in this conversation with this individual right now. It may just be for purely educational purposes as well. Universe showing you what is playing out there, or it may be because, you know, there's something also going on within you that has led you to align with people that are really not an authentic match for you, and this is universe just showing you another reason why you need to go in another direction. But that's what we're dealing with, you guys. Like, the narcissists may be really losing their shit today. I'll put it like that. Tons of over-the-top, attention-seeking behavior may be going on. There may be a lot of me energy out there. But in all the fog and all the delusion, the truth is somehow standing out clearer than ever if we have the eyes to see. Like, I was explaining that example with these magic eye photos or those pictures. Like, that is sort of what I feel like is the imprint in the field right now. Seeing the truth through the over-the-top nature of things. So you guys, this is energy. This is the energy where we want to stay in our conscious awareness, aligned with our personal, authentic, and heart-based truth, because people's demons may really just be running wild, and the devil is very charming and persuasive, you guys. If you watched my Mercury retrograde video, if you watched my video from yesterday, I was talking about how another aspect of this window period that we are in right now is sort of, it's sort of like a test, you guys, to see where we are still aligned with those more ego-based attachments and where we are sort of gravitating more towards the conscious awareness, like the authentic truth, like the return to the heart center based nature of things. Like, how susceptible are we to being preyed upon in terms of like our ego gratification or our ego urges, or, you know, how susceptible are we at this point to being manipulated through our need for seeking external validation, or, you know, proving something to someone, or aligning with some type of identity that we want to be perceived as, even if it's not truly who we know we authentically are. So I feel like that is just something that we need to keep in mind and be a little bit weary of, and sort of like self-checking about as we go through this period of time. We are being tested in terms of our attachment to our ego and ego gratification. Are we willing to sacrifice our commitment to ourself and our personal truth to receive some type of internal or external validation, external gratification, or not? Are we at a point right now where we just don't need it anymore? We're like, you know what? I don't need to prove that to you. Like, I'm good. I am at a place right now where I understand that I am like responsible for maintaining my own frequency, my own vibration. I don't need your approval, your validation in order to feel good about myself and to know that I'm aligned with my own truth and to fill my own cup in this energy. Like, I'm not that thirsty that I am willing to sacrifice myself in order for you to pour a couple drops into my cup. Like, that is the transition. That is the test right now. Or am I still seeking this fulfillment externally to the point where I am willing to neglect my own inner needs in order to receive something that I feel like is going to restore this peace, balance, harmony within me? Because remember, with Mercury in the sign of Libra, this is all coming back to this need to rebalance our inner world in one way or another with all of these retrograde planets. And we're just discovering that which truly fills us up, and that which is the synthetic version of that leaves us perpetually empty at the end of the day. So that's basically that in terms of how this chart is playing out today. I want to talk about the Sabian symbols for a minute because they are quite demonstrative of what we've got going on as well. Venus and Mars in their square today at 15 degrees of Virgo and Gemini. 15 breaks down to the 6. I was talking about how yesterday this aspect moved from 14 degrees Virgo and Gemini, which breaks down to the 5, to 15 degrees, which moves into the 6. This aspect is meant to bring up this conflict. 5 is the number of dynamic change, to bring up this conflict, this breakdown, this dynamic change, but ultimately it is for the purpose of rebalancing things, reharmonizing things in alignment with what brings that authentic fulfillment. This is upgrading our relationship to ourselves and our relationship to others in alignment with the authentic truth of our heart. And 15 degrees of Virgo and Gemini, where the square is going to be exact to the minute today, Venus, and these, I feel like these Sabian symbols are saying the most. Like, we didn't even really need to look at the aspect. I literally just could have read the Sabian symbols and given you guys the same reading, but you know, of course we like to look at everything, but 15 degrees of Gemini, where Mars is right now, that Sabian symbol is two Dutch children talking and studying their lessons together. And then 15 Virgo, where Venus is right now, is a fine lace ornamental handkerchief. So like, I feel like this is just explaining it. Like on one hand, we have Virgo, this fine lace ornamental handkerchief, like this fragile, delicate beauty, right? And then on the other hand, we have these two Dutch children talking and studying their lessons together. Like what is probably the last thing that you want to get its hands on your fine lace ornamental handkerchief is these two children who are probably like rambunctiously like playing and hanging out and talking. Yeah, they're doing their lessons, but like who knows what they're doing on the side of that. You know what I mean? It's this very conflicting energy that is being demonstrated by the symbolism here as well. Like we can't, like these two children can never like maintain this sanctity, this beauty of this like fragile, delicate, fine lace ornamental handkerchief. So there's like this inherent conflict going on, right? Disturbing the peace. Like the energy coming through right now, I feel like is really disturbing the peace in one way or another. But again, it's to show us what we truly value, what we truly prioritize, what we truly love, to help us go through this discovery. Like what do we need to really care for and acknowledge the value and the beauty and the complexity and the delicateness and the fragileness really within like our own heart, and where are we sort of through our desire to like adhere to some cultural mold or to like relate with others or to just be perceived in some type of a way or to fit in, like how are we disrupting our own internal need for like what it is that really makes us feel the balance and the harmony and the beauty and like handle with care. Like where do we need to handle ourselves more with care, I guess is what I feel like these Sabian symbols are boiling down to. Mercury and Jupiter today. Mercury at 7 degrees of Libra. Jupiter at 6 degrees of Aries, 7 Libra, a well with a bucket and a rope under the shade of majestic trees. And then Jupiter 6 Aries, a square brightly lighted on one side. So I feel like this is sort of us like fishing for solutions, like fishing for answers, like trying to get, like going really deep to try to find the solution to things. The square brightly lighted on one side. This Sabian symbol where Jupiter is always reminds me of a solution presenting itself, because squares, Venus and Mars in square, represent conflict, represent tension. The square brightly lighted on one side, I feel like this is like out of the box thinking or some type of solution that is really presenting itself to us. And Mercury with the well with the bucket and the rope under the trees, like I feel like this is like us going down into the depths of our own sort of like emotions and pulling things back to the surface, like figuring out what's there, like really analyzing and seeing this personal truth and some type of solution in this process presenting itself to us in the way that we are emotionally connecting and relating to others, with this water theme coming through. We also have the sun today in opposition to Neptune. The sun is at 24 Virgo. Mary and her white lamb, which is it? Neptune is at 25 Pisces, the purging of the priesthood. The purging of the priesthood, Mary and her white lamb. This is a need to sort of get back to this, to hold on to our light, right? To not allow ourselves to be pulled back into the depth of distorted power with ourselves or others. I feel like, again, this is really a reference for sort of like us staying in the light of our truth and not allowing like the demons of our past to sort of have their way with us in this energy. But again, if that does happen, it is again the test is to show us what work we still need, what to get done, what we still have left to do. And then also I want to talk about Saturn and Uranus Sabian symbols today in a very tight square, 1 degree orb off right now. Uranus is at 19 Taurus, a new continent rising from the ocean, and Saturn at 20 Aquarius, a large white dove bearing a message. We have white in the symbolism twice today. Again, I feel like this is this reference to needing to align and stay aligned with our higher self and our higher consciousness as we are navigating this energy. But again, this information that is coming through that is helping us to recreate ourselves in a way that is leading actually to the emergence of this whole new world within us, and therefore a recreation of our reality externally around us as well. So in the context of the Sabians coming through, they are also, I feel like, demonstrating a lot of these same points and just really talking about the need to have this sort of like reverence and care for the nature of our heart right now, because it's a, you know, delicate lace handkerchief, the position of Venus right now, ornamental handkerchief, like it's very like precious and valuable, and we really need to care for the revelations that our heart is showing to us right now. And so that's what I have to say for the astrology today, you guys. Let's talk about the tarot for a quick second. You know, it's really all alignment. It's very much in alignment with the message that came out yesterday in our tarot as well. And again, we're talking about reversals, we're talking about ego energy, and we're also talking about figuring some things out and perhaps where we've been lying to ourselves or where people have been lying or deceiving us in our relationships and in our circumstances. The first card that we got coming out was the Five of Wands in reverse, followed by the Page of Wands in reverse, followed by the Ten of Wands in reverse. And I do feel like the reversals right now are in reference to the retrograde planets and this more inverted energy that we have going on. And then on the back of the deck, we had the Seven of Swords also in reverse, followed by the Eight of Cups upright. So I really feel like what this sequence of cards ultimately is boiling down to is seeing the truth of where we've been working against ourselves and how our ego attachments have been stealing our power and have been stealing our potential and have been keeping us out of this path towards like true soul healing, actually, that universe is trying to take us on right now, where it's been keeping us attached to that which is no longer serving us. So again, like, because we're talking about the Five of Cards, or I can't talk today. We're talking about the Five of Wands in reverse. This is this internalized conflict. Where have we been working against ourselves? The Page of Wands in reverse, like where have we not been seeing our potential, or where have we been using our energy to attach to these ego, like this more ego identity that is leading to this conflict instead of using it to sort of like spark our own personal, creative, authentic self-expression. And then the Ten of Wands in reverse, like, you know, what are we holding on to? What are we continuing to persist at? What have we been pushing forward and enduring in that is related to the ego and that is not in alignment with us being honest with ourselves? The Seven of Swords in reverse. This is about coming clean about things. This is about being honest with ourselves and others. This is about finding out the truth about stuff. This is about anywhere that we've been like betrayed, or that we've been manipulated, or that we've been deceived, or that we've been lied to. This is like us gaining clarity about that process. This is also any fragmentation that may have been going on within us or in our mind, causing us to deceive ourselves or causing this cognitive dissonance and stuff like that, like us sort of gaining this clarity. Okay, this to me is talking about us gaining the clarity of where we've been working against ourselves based on these egoic attachments that we've had going on, that, you know, the card that we got upright, the Eight of Cups, that has been keeping us from being able to move on from something, or to detach ourselves from what is no longer fulfilling us, or to go on a healing journey that is trying to bring us back into a state of emotional balance and wholeness. I feel like that's what this is talking about. And through this process, this energy that's playing out today and over the course of the next couple days is actually leading us through the clarity that we receive to this Eight of Cups energy, which is the ability to walk away, to detach ourselves, to recognize that, you know, we may have all of these cups, but that doesn't mean that they are full of something that is actually fulfilling us on that soul level. This is us walking away from perhaps commitments or situations or relationships, circumstances of the past, in pursuit of gaining an understanding on a deep soul level of that which truly brings us like genuine, authentic fulfillment. And again, I feel like that is what this energy is helping us, pushing us to see and understand about ourselves, just maybe happening in some more less comfortable ways, you know what I mean? Like, probably not the easiest situations. Could be a lot of, again, like fights, conflicts, and stuff playing out, but that's just what's happening in order to resolve these problems at this point in time. So that's what we got, you guys. Let's draw a synchronicity card now. One more card, God, Spirit, Universe. What do we need to know? What information, what advice will help us as we are navigating the energy today? What is what we should keep in mind? What is the best thing that can help us as we go through this energy to... Okay, we got two again. We've gotten two cards the past 3 days. Rest, relax, and breathe. And then we also got right action. Okay, rest, relax, and breathe. He feedeth among the lilies until the day breaks and the shadows flee away. Song of Solomon 2:16 through 17. Take refuge among the lilies of God and heaven and dwell upon the concepts of joy, harmony, peace, beauty, and divine law and order. All your plans, journeys, and undertakings will prosper. Continue in this abiding trust and faith in God until the day breaks and the shadows flee away. And then we have right action.
And the Lord shall guide thee continually. Isaiah 58:14. Trust God. Know his love is within you. Know God is guiding you, and there are no wrong turns or no wrong words or no wrong actions. Everything you are doing while holding this knowledge of God in your heart is leading you to your goal. Believe it. Your goal and success are yours right now. So we don't need to get caught up, you guys, in whatever projections or whatever breakdowns or whatever is happening this weekend. We need to keep in mind that this is happening for us, you guys. It's not happening against us, even though it really might feel this way in this energy. And we really need to do our best to sort of surrender to the process, not allow ourselves to get like all whipped up about things, rest, relax, believe, and trust that things are happening at this point in time according to a higher plan. And the higher plan is actually to facilitate us the success of our goals and our pursuits and this new alignment that we are coming to as a result of what we are discovering right now. So woo, that is what I have to say today, you guys. Another very long one. This retrograde energy, I just like can't get the words out in a timely manner. If you guys made it with me this far, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. If you did like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. It's totally free, you guys, and it really helps my channel grow if you hit that subscribe button. Share it with your friends if you think that they would like this kind of content, be interested in this too. Leave me comments, you guys. I love your comments. I really appreciate your feedback. Very grateful for each and every one of you. I really truly value you. I have a Facebook page, a Facebook group, a website, and some other social media stuff. Those are in my description box below. And come back with me tomorrow, you guys. We've got, like I said, I'm going to be putting out the Saturday and Sunday report. We have a very, some more intense energy that we're going to be wading through over the course of the next couple days. So I'll be here. You should be here too. You don't want to miss it. And I will see you then, guys. Have a beautiful day. And until tomorrow, bye.